phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
Elite College Football and TND Takeover. Both very popular college football based pages on Instagram. ECF having almost 500,000 followers on Instagram, and TND Takeover having 33.8 thousand followers on Instagram as well. These two pages are very well known, and they're gonna keep on growing as each day moves on. But something these two pages have been involved in recently is controversy. As usual, this is B. Kelly back again with another banger video. In today's video, y'all, I am going to be talking about the rise and fall of the biggest college football page on Instagram, TND versus ECF. To start this video off, I am going to be talking about the two pages and the people behind them and how they got their start. First, I am going to be talking about Elite College Football, and this is going to be a subject of their old owner, Hunter Reeves. Now, Hunter Reeves started the page when he was in 8th grade, and he decided to devote an Instagram account to college football. Hunter Reeves, aka ECF, would keep on growing and growing on Instagram, and he would eventually become one of the most known college football pages on Instagram. But the big thing was, he was a single owner. It wasn't like he was Fox College Football or College Game Day or ESPN College Football. The next person of interest is Canyon Sheeran, aka TND Takeover. Now, TND Takeover got his start on Instagram, originally known as Texas News Daily, where he covered Texas sports, primarily football. He did get one of his accounts taken down while he was trying to grow his page the first time, and he would eventually have the page he has today, which still originally started off as TND, even though now it is TND Takeover. He really started to grow in popularity with his takes, his lives, and his schedule predictions, and everything he really said about Texas and Texas football. He was a big Texas football fan and Texas sports fan overall, and he said a lot of stuff a lot of people didn't like, but it generated a lot of attention, and when you generate a lot of attention, you're eventually going to grow. According to a My San Antonio article, the two met through Instagram as TND would comment hot takes on ECF's page, and eventually ECF would pop into one of TND's lives and proceed to troll him. After their interactions they've had on their lives, they would eventually talk every day about sports, and eventually ECF would trust TND enough to offer him an opportunity to co-manage Elite College Football. Although the two never met in real life, Hunter Reeves of ECF described their relationship like Batman and Robin. When TND did first join Elite College Football, there were some people who didn't like the move, as there were people out there that just straight up did not like TND at all. Some would even unfollow, but ECF would still continue to grow and even picked up some more success with their page, since TND brought something new that the page never had before. TND would bring lives to Elite College Football. He had lives with people such as Trace McSorley, Sam Ellinger, Bijan Robinson, Caleb Burton, Garrett Wilson, Gregory Russo, and ESPN broadcaster Chris Fowler. Things were only looking up for the two. After Alabama won the 2020 National Championship game versus Ohio State, Elite College Football would end up dropping merch. The merch drop seemed very, very successful when it dropped, and it was perceived very well. But this single merch drop would be the downfall between Hunter Reeves and Canyon Sheeran. The merch was dropped and a lot of people were buying the merch, but there was a huge problem. People were not getting the merch. A lot of the people that bought the merch were not getting them. Some people got the merch, but a lot would not end up getting it at all. Eventually, people who bought the merch would end up DMing ECF about where is their merch. Even some would comment on the post every time a post came out saying, where is their merch? ECF would eventually disable the page in April of 2021. Everybody wanted to know what was happening with ECF. A few months would go by as nobody knew what was happening from the outside looking in, until TND Takeover would end up making a post in August about what happened to ECF.
Let's get into what happened. If you don't know, ECF was ran by one person for a really long time. Somebody I thought was my good friend, arguably my best friend. Now, sitting here down the line, that was probably all a lie, right? Probably. Not probably, it was. But what happened to ECF was Hunter, ECF, decided he wanted to drop merch. And I was all for it. Great. Well, that didn't go over well. He decided he was going to scam his community. Lied to me about it for 5 months. I sent people money out of my pocket to refund them. I sent them IG handles of people asked me what happened to their merch. I spent countless nights trying to contact Printify, trying to find a solution for somebody that didn't want a solution. Just a lot went wrong with that drop. That was the beginning to the end of ECF. Hunter just decided he was going to run. He disabled the page. He disabled the page because I was DMing people back about their merch. He didn't like me DMing people back. He just wanted me to go radio silent. And I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, gosh. I preach all these things and I practice what I preach. But it's hard to practice what you preach when somebody you thought was your best friend, your business partner, was just lying to you about how stuff was going down. So I'm sorry to anybody that supported ECF or that bought that drop. I love you. That was great. I'm sorry. Sorry for being the face of a brand of somebody who didn't care about his community. Like I said, I promised myself no tears, but I knew some would start flowing. But to the ECF community, I loved all y'all. I will always love all y'all. Feels like I got stabbed in the back really hardly, you know? But for what Hunter did, there's no excuses. And the way he's made it seem is that I did that to people. I didn't launch a Shopify site. I did nothing besides try to help him sell the product because I was invested in to making ECF something special for y'all. But as we know, that's not going to happen. No more tears. I'm excited for where I can take TND in the future. And I'm excited to continue to grow with y'all as y'all get to see me flourish in my career and the next steps I take. But I just hope y'all continue to support me. And I just love all y'all as always. Stay up, stay blessed.
What he was basically saying in that video was that the original owner of Elite College Football, Hunter Reeves, made that merch drop, and he would eventually just do it to scam his own audience, and that he was even trying to help out and refund people on his own. He was the one that was trying to refund everybody, take money out of his own pocket, refund people, and was trying to figure out the whole situation while Hunter wanted him to be quiet and not talk about it. When TND dropped that video on what happened to ECF, the entire community, it seemed like, was against Hunter. Nobody trusted Hunter, and everybody was on TND's side. A big thing that people would eventually remember was the caption from that video, "Honesty and transparency. Y'all deserve it." Hunter Reeves would eventually return to Elite College Football after his little hiatus that he had, where everybody thought he was guilty. He would only be on the account for a short time, as he would sell the account to the current owner of ECF today. But he made sure to say his side of the story before he left for the final time. he would end up posting on his story how TND was lying. He was talking about how he was the one that was refunding people and how he even went into some debt because of it. He was paying out of his own pocket just to refund people and was working on refunding everybody that did not get their merchandise. They didn't have enough merchandise prepared for how many people actually bought the merch, as they were not ready with it. They had complications with their company, and they had complications with the orders and the amount that they had. The college football community on Instagram was then seemed to be split, as you had people that were on Hunter's side and some people that were on TND's side. But nobody really knew the full story or the full context, since it was really something that was in between the two parties. Although he was supposed to be done talking about what happened, TND, of course, would make a response to Hunter.
So the fact that I even have to address the situation is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to talk about Hunter's statement for a second. First off, you don't wait 9 months to put all the blame on somebody else and take zero accountability. It wasn't just some POD company, it's Printify, it's almost $1 billion company, if not $1 billion company. He didn't tell you all how many orders, thousands of orders, so he has not refunded 50% of people. I don't need to drop the receipts, or I don't need to, I'm in 5 college classes. I'm trying to do college here, right? Apparently he's selling the account and it's going under new ownership and he's gonna refund everybody back. I don't know. The situation is out of my hands. I can't control it, and I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth about the situation when somebody took 9 months to make a statement, and it couldn't even be a word of mouth statement. It was just something you could write in your notepad. That was just a complete fallacy. So that's all I gotta say.
In this video, TND is primarily clearing his name and saying that Hunter is not telling the full truth and really isn't telling the truth at all, and that this is going to be the last time that he talks on it this time. This really would not be the final response, however, as another popular football page on Instagram by the name of Football Sideline would share some screenshots that were exclusive between TND, the graphic designer, and Hunter about the merch. In this post and series of screenshots, it was made clear by the guy who made the post that these screenshots show that Hunter did not want to go all in on merch quite yet. He wanted to wait and see how the first test of the drop would go. And it was even showing that TND was more worried about the money and wanted to drop as much merch as possible before the first drop even went live. In this screenshot here, you can see that TND says the merch will deliver when it delivers. I ain't worried about that right now. Let's get more merch designs and then we can sell them now. Means more money for all of us. Although he said he was done responding, he would respond yet again to these screenshots and talk about the situation, about how the screenshots were altered and taken out of context because he was talking about license plates that were never released, and that's all he was talking about according to him. And not only that, he would also bring up how he is getting lawyers involved versus Hunter. Another thing that he said in this video was conjecture, and how the screenshots basically were not in context and were taken out of context, and how the guy who posted them had nothing to do with this whole situation. But he also kind of went against his own word when he posted screenshots on his story as well, trying to frame Hunter and the designer for scamming people potentially with an investment thing. As of right now, there is not a clear and concise view of who is right or who is wrong. You have people who are supporting Hunter's side and people who are supporting TND's side, and you have people who are in the middle. Both people are being called out for a variety of things. TND, with his statement of honesty and transparency that he said very early on, has said quite a bit in his captions about this whole situation, because some people think he's not really showing the entire truth, or not really showing everything he could be showing that he could have as evidence defending himself. If you guys have made it this far in the video, drop something down in the comments below of what side you're on. Hunter's side or TND's side. And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly, out.